we hit the market today. We're here at the State Farmers Market here in Raleigh, and we cruised the aisles at first and kind of got a lay of the land. Then we went back and procured everything we need, and we're going to be making some BLTs today. We're going to be doing two very different versions. Heidi, tell us about yours first.
So mine is more of a vegetarian version. I won't say vegetarian because I've got eggs and cheese, but it's meatless. So instead of the B in BLT, the bacon, I'm going to do a sort of a play on bacon with mushrooms, which so many great wild mushrooms grow in the state and are available right here at the market. There was a beautiful selection. These people are from Carolina Mushroom Farm in Willow Springs. They're gorgeous mushrooms. And so I'm going to make a bacon-like thing out of those that's going to replace the salty part in the sandwich. And then I'm going to do fried green tomatoes with a little bit of local cheese from my friends at Chapel Hill Creamery, our friends at Chapel Hill Creamery. This is their farmer's cheese. And you can only get this locally here in Raleigh, in the Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Cary area. So I was excited, and we don't see it in Charlotte. And then we're going to add some cucumbers to that.
Very good. And these mushrooms, they're great. They're really dry, so you can get them really crispy and caramelized. And with most mushrooms have a high level of umami, right? Which is it's in bacon and tomatoes. So that's why people love BLT so much, for all the umami that's in there. But when you cook these, like, they legitimately taste like bacon. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Mine's going to be a little more traditional than that, but I'm going to do a few little spins on it. So we got some great bread here from Yellow Dog Bakery in Raleigh. We've got our mayonnaise, we got some fresh basil from the market, got some different heirloom tomatoes, and I'm going to add peaches to mine, which is going to be a little bit different. All right, so we're going to get started. You want to go ahead and start with your mushrooms?
Yeah, let's talk about this first, because when you prepare the mushrooms, you want to dip them in something to give them that umami flavor, any sort of smoky, salty tasting thing, so that you replicate the taste of bacon. These are shiitake mushrooms. I have two different kinds of mushrooms today. These are shiitakes, but it's the caps that we want to use for this. So we've got that done. And then these, I just love these. These are oyster mushrooms. And we're just going to kind of peel back the petals. For what we're going to do, I'm not going to use the stems. I'm going to try to leave those attached. I may wind up cutting them with a knife, but because I just want the flat part, so that'll go on a sandwich well. But I'm not going to throw this away. I'm going to save all of that for another day. I'm going to slice these up and soak them in this, and then fry them up in the pan like you're going to fry the bacon. But I'll have to use a little oil because I don't have mushroom fat.
That's right. That's right.
So there's not, bacon, you don't need oil, but for the mushrooms you do.
I'm going to grab my bacon and start cooking that.
All right, so I think instead of using these flat, I'm going to slice. And you want the slices pretty thin, because if it's too thick, it's not going to crisp up. It won't crisp up near like bacon will. But you don't want it to be soft and mushy. So we put these in here.
All right, so I'm going to do probably about 4 slices of bacon on each sandwich, but if you want to load it up, load it up.
Look how pretty that is.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's smelling very delicious in here.
It is. Between the bacon and the mushrooms, it smells great.
So look what happened.
Yeah, that looks great.
The teriyaki sauce and that mix that you had also has sugar in it.
That's right.
So it started to caramelize a little bit. So they really came out, they're going to be really crispy. The key is going to be to put them on a wire rack, not a paper towel.
That's right.
Paper towel, they just get soggy and it's a mess. But on a wire rack, the fat drips down, and these remain crispy, and let them cool all the way. You don't want to put them on the sandwich hot.
All right, so what's your next move on your sandwich, Heidi?
My next move is to work on the fried green tomatoes.
Okay.
These are regular field tomatoes, and it's just the green variety. And what I like about this, for frying and for the sandwich, is that it's going to offer some crunch. So I'm going to cut it into some thick slices here. So I've got my eggs beaten up. I've got this breader, and all I'm going to do is, now, chefs and cookbooks will tell you have one hand for dry and one hand for wet.
That's right.
In a practical world, when lots of things are happening in your house, that is a little difficult. So what we're going to do is just hope for the best. We're going to first put as Chad said, the tomatoes wet. So we're going to put the wet thing in a dry thing, right? And get it coated. Then we're going to switch hands.
That's right.
This will only happen once. We're going to dip that in the egg. And you could use tongs. I'm just telling you, it's so much easier just with clean hands.
Yeah, it is. And the idea behind using 2 hands, and you'll see in a second, like at the end, you'll kind of collect these dough balls at the end of your fingertips. So,
so we shake off any egg, and now it goes back into this one. And then you get that all coated.
And I know you like a nice light coating, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't like fried green tomatoes that are battery, like a tempura or too heavy, particularly not on a sandwich, because then you got coating and bread. I just want a nice crispy crunch. So there we go. Now what marries this together and makes it stick is the wire rack. This is a really good tip. If you just put this in the hot oil, all this breading and egg just comes off.
I'm gonna talk about bread for a second.
Okay, good.
So again, this came from Yellow Dog Bakery off of Person Street in Raleigh. So this is my opinion about about sandwiches, especially a BLT. I like a softer bread for this, and it's kind of like burgers. Like, look, this is just my humble opinion, but I don't think burgers should go on a crusty bread. Like, it makes it awkward to eat. I love crusty bread, but not for that kind of sandwich. And same with the BLT. So this was actually their honey wheat loaf, and it's beautiful. You can see the blistering and the color on top. And it's got just the right amount of crust to it, right? And like, I like just plain old white, loaf bread is great for sandwiches, but since we're kind of dressing up BLTs today, we decided to get more of an artisan loaf, but again, it's a softer loaf, which is what we're looking for. Now, beautiful
bread and a gorgeous bakery.
Yeah. Beautiful.
By the way, yeah.
Do you like a thicker slice for your sandwich?
No, I think I want thinner slices.
Kind of like that?
Yeah.
That good right there?
Big enough to hold it, but because I've got the breaded tomatoes, I just don't want so much bread. This is what happens when you use the same hand and you're not back and forth. So you get these little nubbies, right?
That's right.
So we'll just wipe those off. And then I'm going to let these sit for about a minute before I put them in the hot fat. And I'm going to use the same fat I did the mushrooms in.
Yeah, I got you heated up. You're ready to go right there.
What's your next? What are you doing next?
So all my stuff is raw, but I'm going to, again, do the twist. So I'm going to go ahead and prep these peaches. You can leave the skin on them if you like. I tend to take the skin off. I mean, if I was out in the field, I'd probably just eat it like this, but since we're doing a sandwich, and like, you can use a vegetable peeler. I'm kind of peeling these like you would a cantaloupe or a melon or something like that.
Okay, Chad, I'm going to do what I do when I'm cooking and I'm blogging about it. So I'm going to take a picture.
Okay, yeah.
This happens in my house all day long, right? There you go.
Yeah, Heidi's husband, Tom, is her cameraman. Okay, so this is a freestone peach, which means it comes away freely from the stone inside. So I just kind of score it.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's when you know your peach is ripe. It really should be that easy. If you're struggling with it, probably needs a little bit more time to ripen. So Heidi's going to fry up some tomatoes.
Yep, I'm going to just fry these up. So they're still a little wet. I mean, they look damp, and you want them to kind of hold together. That may be because of the heat.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go with it.
Yep.
But we'll just take them one at a time and put them in our hot fat.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So you're over medium heat?
Yeah, medium high.
Okay.
I think. I don't know this stove.
Yeah.
And this is a cast iron pan, so it's really going to hold the heat.
It will hold the heat for a long time.
Yeah. At home, I might just start on high.
So yeah, when you're making a sandwich of any kind, like, make your layers. You have multi-layers, but make them thin. I think it eats better and the texture's better. So if you got a big hunk of tomato like that, it's probably going to slide out the back end. So I think that's an ideal situation right there. And another thing, this tomato is smooth as glass right now, and that's what you want. If it's kind of rough, it's going to be mealy, and like a mealy tomato is. Honestly, I understand why people don't like tomatoes, because there's a lot of bad tomatoes out there.
Right.
Honestly, people eat them in the wrong seasons a lot. But this, I mean, we're at the end of July almost. This is peak season.
Prime, right?
Prime season.
Really?
So that's perfect right there. So I got a couple slices of the green. We'll do some of this yellow right here. And again, guys, don't shy away from tomatoes that look irregular like this. These are the best tasting tomatoes, right?
And they're all easy to slice. You
Yeah.
don't have to have perfectly round slices, right? You can
Nah.
you can do quarters. Tell what you were telling me earlier. That looks great.
Yeah, some of these tomatoes don't feel like you have to have a slice, like a full slice. Cut it in half, get the core out, and then slice off of each half. Kind of break it down into sections and attack it from that direction. It's good, right? Those are beautiful.
Aren't they gorgeous?
Yeah.
So I'm going to let them cool a little bit.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I'm going to slice some cucumbers because mine's going to have cucumbers on it.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to do cucumbers and maybe not the lettuce.
Okay.
For sandwiches, I like to slice my cucumbers lengthwise, and I love using these little curvy cubes.
Yeah, those are my favorite. Anytime you're using a tomato, season your tomatoes. I always tell people if they're not doing that, they're missing out on a flavor opportunity. So when you season, you want to season kind of high up, get even distribution. There's your bread. I'm gonna grab the lettuce.
Alrighty. And I'm gonna open my cheese. So as I said, this is from Chapel Hill Creamery. I love these gals, Flo and Portia. They are at lots of farmers markets in the Raleigh area and at the State Farmers Markets. State Farmers Market here, Mays Meats carries their whole line of products. But this farmer's cheese is special because it's very perishable, and so they don't ship it out all over the state, and I doubt they even ship it to chefs across the state. It's really very local to the Triangle area. So I'm excited to use it. It's got a really great taste to it. Let me, have you had this?
I have. I love
farmer's
it.
cheese,
I've only
yeah.
had it once. Like you said, it's you don't see it everywhere, so that's special. We're really into local lettuces right now.
Oh, those look great.
So these came from Ronnie Moore Farms, leafy green and a red leaf here, but they have all different kinds. And again, you can go from iceberg to romaine to arugula, which is super peppery and kind of has sort of a bacony sort of flavor profile to it. These are pretty mild. I figure I've got enough flavor going on to the sandwich so that this can be kind of a little bit of a mild buffer, I guess.
It's another pretty color profile. Yours is going to be beautiful color.
I'm going to use 2 different kinds too, so yeah.
I'm going to taste the farmer's cheese. I like it because it's soft, almost spreadable.
It is, and if you sat this out long enough, it would be spreadable, right?
Yeah. Brought it to room temperature. That's
salty
delicious.
and buttery.
Salty and buttery. That's exactly what I was going to say. So I'm going with a thin layer of cheese on either slice of bread instead of a spread of mayo.
All right, and I'm going to do mayonnaise on both of mine.
All right, and can I just mention, Duke's is also a local product, South Carolina, so not North Carolina, but it's a over 100-year-old company.
That's right. I'm going to use these. This is Thai basil we got from Ronnie Moore Farms also. And you can see these buds here, they're purple. I'm just going to use those because they're really intense and they're really pretty. And it's going to add a little texture
great.
too.
Okay, I'm stacking.
Yeah, you are.
So I've got, and I fried 2 pieces of the eggplant with a tomato. So I think I'm going to do tomato and eggplant.
Cool. Add a little bit of pepper to my mayonnaise. If I see something white like gravy or mayonnaise, I'm just compelled to put black pepper on it for some reason. So, all right, I'm going to build 2. So, look at that already. Look at that color.
Beautiful.
It's pretty. Okay. And I don't know. I'm not going to put any more tomato on there because I don't want it sliding everywhere, but we've got some extras. I might make 2 sandwiches.
All right.
Actually, I'm going to do my peaches first.
Oh yeah, I forgot about your peaches. I've made a massive sandwich,
Yeah, you did.
but I love that.
So the Mr. Whitfield that we got the peaches from, I told him that we were going to put peaches on the BLT, and he kind of recoiled a little bit. So I'm going to take him some of this sandwich and try to change his mind
It's beautiful.
about peaches on a BLT. So. Last
Not
piece.
a lot of tomatoes, but let's just pile on
Why
the
not?
bacon.
Why not? All right. So 2 different lettuces on here.
Beautiful.
All right, I think we're good.
It's the great tomato sandwich wars.
We're going to, there you
Switch.
go. I'm going to try
Thank
Heidi's.
you. Oh my gosh,
Here we go.
huge. These peaches are amazing.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to taste them on
Cheers.
this sandwich. Cheers. Tink.
Wow. It's really good. It's not a traditional BLT, obviously, but it's very reminiscent of a BLT. And I like the cucumber in place of the lettuce. That's a great idea.
I like the crunch in that. This is very juicy and
Right.
delicious. All the tomatoes, all the peaches, but the crisp of the bacon and the lettuce really adds to that. It's really good.
I'm pretty happy.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So there's lots of ways to make a BLT. Try some different stuff. You know, we were talking to one of the farmers who doesn't like tomatoes, but she likes eggplant. So fry up some eggplant slices and put those on a sandwich with some bacon and lettuce and mayonnaise or whatever, you know, so.
Just use your imagination. If you like, we were sitting here eating all the ingredients. So if you like all the ingredients, they're going to taste great together on a sandwich, right?
Absolutely, yeah. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time on Southside Chats.